The Alamo legend, the line drawn in the sand. At San Antonio, Texas in the year 1836, the cold March wind swept across the open plains, wailing like a captive spirit. It carried with it the despair and fear that had seeped into the crumbling adobe walls of an old fortress. This place, once a sacred sanctuary for Franciscan friars, a haven of peace and prayer, was known as the Alamo. Now the Alamo was no longer home to monks. The sound of prayer had been replaced by the relentless boom of cannons from the encircling enemy. The fortress served as the last refuge for a band of brave fighters, composed of American fortune seekers and Tejanos defending their homeland. Numbering fewer than 200 souls in total, they were besieged by the formidable Mexican army of General Antonio López de Santa Anna, who had vowed to show no mercy. Hunger, exhaustion, and the ever-encroaching shadow of death gnawed at their bodies, but could not erode their spirits. The eyes of every man within those walls still burned with an undying flame of freedom. A fateful decision awaits. Lieutenant Colonel William B. Travis, a young commander of only 26, clenched his jaw as he inspected the defenses during a night of unnerving silence. This stillness was more oppressive than the sound of cannons, for it signaled the enemy's final preparations. He stepped past the figures of exhausted fighters, some huddled in old, tattered blankets, others clutching their rifles close. The blood-soaked bandages had turned dark under the moonlight. The scent of gunpowder, smoke, and sickness hung heavy in the air. Travis felt the weariness eating at his soul. The burden of deciding the fate of these men was heavier than one young man could bear. He paused to look at the makeshift hospital, where James Bowie lay gasping on a cot, ravaged by a severe bout of typhoid fever. The legendary knife fighter was destined to be defeated by sickness before he could face the enemy. Travis gripped the hilt of the sword at his side, a gift from his father on his 18th birthday, along with the wisdom, a blade is only sharp when it has tasted the enemy's blood. But at this moment, he wasn't thinking of the blade's sharpness. He was thinking of the responsibility that came with it. The pleas for help he had repeatedly sent out were met only with silence. It was now clear that no reinforcements were coming. They were abandoned to face their destiny alone. The line in the sand. Travis descended into the central courtyard of the fort. The moon cast a pale glow upon the parched earth. He stopped where the moonlight hit the ground, a thought flashing through his mind, a thought both crazy and crystal clear. He drew his sword, the tip of the steel blade touching the cold sand. He used it to carve a long, straight line across the courtyard. The line did not curve. It was as unwavering as his decision. It was the simplest yet most powerful of all dividing lines. The next morning, March 5th, before the dawn of bloodshed, Travis gathered every fighter who could still walk. Even the wounded were carried out to listen. As they assembled, the atmosphere was thick with palpable tension. He stood before the line he had drawn the night before, looking deep into each man's eyes. He saw flickering hope, courage that defied fate, and a fear of death that lurked beneath. Travis spoke in a resolute, clear voice. "Brave brothers, the enemy has given us an ultimatum: unconditional surrender or execution." He took a deep breath. "I have made my decision. I will not surrender. I will fight to the death for the honor and future of Texas." He swept his gaze across the men, then pointed his sword at the line in the sand. "I have drawn this line for you to choose your own destiny. Whoever is ready to sacrifice their life for this cause, please cross this line and fight to the death with me. Whoever is not ready to fight and chooses to save his life may leave this place. I will consider it a reasonable choice and will never forget the debt I owe for the courage you have shown thus far. A choice between life and death." Silence fell upon them. No one moved. There was only the mournful sound of the wind and the rapid beat of their hearts like war drums. A moment that felt like an eternity passed. Then a hoarse voice broke the stillness from a corner. "Help me up." It was James Bowie. He struggled to rise from his cot, but his body wouldn't obey. He looked at Travis with fiery eyes, even as his strength failed. "I may not be able to walk, but I choose to die here." Two men rushed to help him, carrying his frail body across the line to the other side, to the sound of hushed cheers. When Bowie had successfully crossed, another man followed close behind. It was Davy Crockett, the famous frontiersman and former congressman from Tennessee, wearing his iconic raccoon hat. He walked across the line with a proud smile, a look of defiance aimed at fate. He looked at those who were still hesitating. "I came here to fight alongside you, and I will end it here as well." Then, as if a dam had broken, every remaining man crossed the line one by one. Some walked with a confident, heavy stride. Others hesitated, their eyes on the ground. But in the end, they all decided to fight to the death with Travis. They crossed the line that divided faint hope from certain death for something greater than life itself. Only one man remained standing where he was. He was Louis Rosse, a worldly French veteran. He had seen too much war to believe in an ideology that called for mass suicide. He looked at his comrades for the last time before turning his back, walking to the wall, climbing over it, and disappearing into the darkness. He was the sole survivor who escaped, and it was he who told the story of the line in the sand to future generations, a tale whose complete veracity has been debated ever since. Courage etched in the sand. On the morning of March 6, the Mexican bugles blared the deguelo, a signal of no quarter. Santa Anna's army breached the Alamo from all directions. The battle was brutal and savage, blood splashing and turning the soil a deep red. The brave defenders of the Alamo fought until the very end. They fought for every inch of the fort, fighting until their ammunition ran out, fighting with bayonets, with rifle butts, and with bare hands until their last breath. Their bodies were piled together and burned, leaving nothing but ashes. Although the story of the line in the sand has been told for generations, blurring the line between legend and reality, it has become a powerful symbol. What cannot be denied is the courage of the men who chose to face an unavoidable death. The line drawn on the sand may have faded over time, but the imprint of their final decision was etched deep into history, becoming the rallying cry just weeks later at the Battle of San Jacinto. Remember the Alamo.